Hi, I have my co-host Gigi D with Dynamic Title with me again today.
And we are here to talk about dirt.
Hi, welcome. I am DeLynn Gaston, and this is Moving Forward TV, your local market update, things that are going on in our neck of the woods, so to speak, which would basically encompass the entire country, or it can. I do get calls from far away. But anyway, so I have with me today, my co-host is Gigi D from Dynamic Title. Barry is out again, and she is my Barry fill-in.
I'm not Barry, though. I say that every time, right?
Thank you for being with me today.
Sure, happy to be with you.
And whenever we are lucky enough to have Gigi on the show, I like to talk dirt. I should say Gigi likes to talk dirt. Yeah. That's her thing, right?
I am the Duchess of Dirt.
So, I don't know the last time if we got to do like a proper introduction, because we did a construction stuff going, and people who want to build a house. So, Gigi, why don't, if you don't mind, tell our audience a little bit about you and how long you've been doing this and all that.
Well,
I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry.
This
wasn't planned.
My name is Gigi. I've been doing title work since I was 2. No, actually about 31 years now. I worked for an attorney that did title insurance for sale of business. That means like you're selling the business along with the stuff and the dirt. And I worked for an attorney that did mainly construction perm transactions, which we talked about a couple of days back. And then I pretty much started my own company, and I did from A to Z. Now I just do A and Z, which I kind of like.
A lot of times people don't know, and I know most of our audience is realtors, but a lot of people don't know, we do have consumers watching as well, why do we need a title company? I guess let's kind of start there. What is it that the title company does?
Well, first of all, the title company, when we get a contract, the very first thing we do is order a title search report and order the municipal lien search. I mean, even before the inspection period or anything, because we want to know what's going on right away.
On that dirt.
On that dirt, yes.
That patch of dirt that somebody is buying, we need to know everything that happened on it, right?
Exactly. And it's going to be able to tell us, like, whether we need to order payoffs for a mortgage, or if there's a municipal lien search, and if there's
What is
permits.
a municipal lien search? That's a hard word.
Yeah.
Municipal liens.
Well, that one's kind of new to us, because the new contract, the real estate contract from 2017, now requires that we do a municipal lien search. And basically what it boils down to is, way back when, the sellers were taken off without paying their water bill. And, the buyers weren't able to turn on the water because there was a past due amount. So now
and of course, this didn't come up until after closing.
Exactly.
And after the closing, the buyers go to the water company and say, I want to turn my water on.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, you owe us $372.
Exactly. And it might not have even been your seller. It could have been somebody before then.
Oh, that's right.
So now that's why we have to do a municipal lien search. And it's basically the municipalities. So when we're doing that search, we're looking for outstanding permits or water bills, or maybe there's a lot of times the municipalities don't have to record a lien or something on a property. You just find that out when you're sitting there trying to take a bath and you can't have any water in your bathtub.
There's a problem.
It kind of ends up being dirty.
There you go.
But anyhow, that's why now we have to do a municipal lien search. But basically, when we get started, we want to find out everything that we need to do to be able to perfect the title to this property. So is there someone in the chain of title that did not sign a deed to your seller or their seller or somebody? We have to check that and make sure that the people that are on the real estate contract are actually the people that are going to be signing the deed to the buyers. So you as agents, one of the things that you need to find out is, from us, is that the only person that needs to sign that contract?
Right. Who
So-
can legally transfer this property to the new people?
Exactly, exactly. And if there's something that's missing along the lines, that's why you need title insurance, because just say, for instance, there's a property and the brother and the sister own the property, and the brother lived there and he got married, and now all of a sudden they're selling the property, but the wife never signed. There's a homestead rule here in Florida, in the state of Florida, and basically if you're married, you're married. There is no legal separation. Right. If the wife did not sign that deed when they transferred the property to the new buyer, well, we're going to have to catch up with her. So even if we have to protect to perfect the title from
even though
previous.
She was never on it in the beginning,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
So it was just the brother and the sister.
Exactly.
But then he went and got married.
Yep.
So now she has to sign even though she never was on that property anyway.
Exactly, because there was a homestead there, and she would have a homestead interest in that property. Whether
Right.
she's on the title to the property or not, that's what,
Right.
you have to do when there's other people that are involved.
And I think it's important to bring up, I know that we didn't want to talk about negative things or nightmare things, but there are a lot of things that come up, which is, the reason you do need title insurance, and it's going to protect you from these things. I always tell people too, title insurance is, what if somebody, put new windows in the house back in 1971, right? Mm-hmm. And the window guy never got paid. Mm-hmm. So he put a lien on the property.
Yep.
And maybe it was missed in the title search or something like that, or you're just finding out, when the last person bought the house, and you're just finding out about it now.
Well, there's a difference too with liens. There's different types of liens. An IRS lien can jump in front of even your mortgage on your property.
Oh, IRS gets headsies, huh?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They get headsies in front of the mortgage too?
Yes,
in front of everything, huh?
And the HOA.
There you go.
The
Go
HOA
figure.
can put a lien on your property, and they can get paid or foreclose on you before the mortgage company can. That's why your mortgages have a PUD rider. Planned unit development. That means you live in a homeowners association. So if that bill isn't paid to the HOA, then they can put a lien on the property. And they can even foreclose on it ahead of a mortgage. So there are judgments. Sometimes a judgment will be for 3 years. Sometimes it has to be a certified final judgment, which basically means they have to record it twice. I don't understand that.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm serious as a heart attack. Yeah, that's serious.
It means they have to record it twice.
They do. They have to record it that says, we're
So you have
putting a
to
lien
get
on
two
your...
satisfactions?
No, because it's actually the exact same document that
Okay.
has to be recorded twice. So what they do is you take it to the courthouse and you record it that says, you didn't pay for your windows, okay? And then they say, then they have to record it again saying, I really mean it, you did not pay for your...
I love how you put things, Gigi.
Well, in title, everything, there's a hello and a goodbye. So just say, for instance, there is a mortgage on the property. And if that mortgage is not satisfied of record, then there's still that lien on the property. Now, it could be out per, what do they call it? I can't remember, statute.
Okay.
So, like, if you have a
yes.
mortgage that is satisfied of record, you still, or is not satisfied of record, you still have to wait like 3 years after it's matured, unless we can get a SAT. So there's
A SAT.
a satisfaction of mortgage. Sorry.
I know that. I do the same thing with mortgage
Yeah,
stuff. I'm
sorry.
sitting here saying things like, oh, 1003, and nobody knows what that is unless you're in the mortgage
Yeah.
business. So yes.
And we don't even do a 1003 anymore, do we?
Yes, they still do.
Oh, okay, okay. But it's 72 pages long now
It
instead
is.
of
It
two.
is. I know.
Right.
It used to be 2 front and
Yeah.
back, and now it's like 9
Yeah.
pages. But anyway, so satisfaction of mortgage. So that's the other thing. So when somebody has is going to be buying a piece of property, because we're talking to our realtors and a lot of times our home buyers out there, so they're buying a piece of property, first thing you're going to do is do a municipal
Lien
with
search.
that.
Yeah, and the realtors look at it as an MLS. MLS is not a municipal lien search, but in our world it is.
It
So-
is. So we're going to make sure that the water has been paid and things like that. And then you're also going to see if the seller has an existing mortgage on the house, that we're going to need a satisfaction of mortgage on. So we not only need you need a release as well? Or that is the satisfaction, right? A satisfaction.
It's like
And a lot of times those don't get recorded, right?
Correct.
I was just going to say, so some of the nightmares, some of the stuff you run into.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Well, you remember when people used to burn their mortgages? They would burn their
They
mortgages.
did.
It was a big celebration. Okay, let's, have a big
Yes.
party. We're going to burn our mortgage. Well, when the lender
Because they paid it off. Yay!
Yes. So when the lender sent back the mortgage and the note, the original promissory note, they probably
Because
sent
it was paid in
this-
full now.
Yep, they probably also sent the satisfaction of mortgage, and
Got
it got burned. So
So it's up to a lot of times it's up to the homeowner. So it's like when you have especially an elderly couple, somebody who maybe they've been in the house for a long time, 20 years, and maybe they had a 15-year mortgage. So there's no mortgage on the house. So always, as the listing agent, if you're speaking to somebody and they say, oh, no, there's no mortgage on my house, great.
There's just a
heads
home.
up to the title company. Make yourself a little note when you put in the title to the title company, no mortgage on the house, so they can check to see if a satisfaction
Yes.
was filed.
Yes, and one of the things that they do is they say, oh, no, we don't have a mortgage on the house. Oh,
And everyone thinks,
we
okay,
have-
good, easy. No.
we have a home equity line of credit. That's just a credit card. No, it is not. It is an actual mortgage on the property.
It is
might
a
be a
lien.
second mortgage, but we still have to deal with that.
Yes.
Sometimes you run into a situation where
And it's funny how people don't realize that
No.
it is a second.
Exactly.
It is a second mortgage. Oh, no, it's just a home equity line of credit.
Yes.
No, it's a mortgage. Sorry, I have an alarm going off. Sorry about that.
oh, I thought I was
Tingle.
I was waiting for the sprinkles.
The angels are coming.
Exactly. But so actually, a home equity line of credit is a mortgage on the property, and it does need to be satisfied or
Even if they have a
subordinated.
zero balance.
Even if it's a
Even
zero
if,
balance.
So they said, oh, but I don't have anything on it. It's paid off.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, that's
Great.
fine. That's dandy. We don't have to collect any money from you, but we still need to get that set.
Right.
Satisfaction of mortgage. And that definitely can be an issue if you owe a pretty good chunk of change on it. If you are getting a new mortgage, it can be subordinated, which means we have to go through a process that the home equity line of credit mortgage company is okay to be still in second lien position. So that means there's a mortgage that's recorded, and then the home equity line of credit, and then, okay, this one's going to go bye-bye. We satisfied a satisfaction of mortgage, that one, but this one is still there, and it is recorded. Now you want to record this mortgage, but this mortgage company says, no, I'm giving them $150,000. This is only 40 grand. So they want to be subordinating this
Right.
mortgage so that they're in first lien
Basically,
position.
they're giving them headsies.
Exactly.
We're going to give
Exactly.
you headsies. Like when you're in line at Disney, and you're like waiting for your wife to get out of the bathroom. You just keep on saying to people, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. You can go next. Doesn't Jerry Seinfeld do something? He does a thing with, it's always great to be next, right? Here you go. You go
Exactly.
first. I'll be next.
Exactly.
So let's talk about the people who burn their mortgage. What happens?
Well,
so what do you have to do?
We have a lot of homework ahead of us then, because what we need to do is we need to get the Barnett Bank.
Yes, and that was going to be my other thing I was going to bring up. What about all those banks that went out of business?
Exactly. All these banks that have gone out of business, they were purchased by somebody. So I think First Union purchased Barnett Bank. And
Who's like
then-
also out of business now.
Who's also out of business now, yep. And Bank of America or Regions or one of these bigger banks has purchased those.
Okay.
So somewhere along the line, we can get a satisfaction of mortgage from somebody.
And what do? You guys have to do the research to do that. You have to say, okay, it used to be, so you find out from the seller, okay, I paid off my mortgage to Barnett Bank. And so you start there. Okay, who bought Barnett's mortgage
Exactly.
department? Okay, it was bought by First Union or whatever. Okay, and First Union's not here either. Who bought First Union? So you have to, and that could be time consuming, I would imagine.
Well, one of the things that we do now is, you remember MERS. That's
Yes.
about on every mortgage right now.
Yes.
It's Mortgage Electronic Registration Service.
Yes.
And every time I do a mortgage, close a loan, I'm always telling people about that, because that's kind of like your third check. First of all, Bank of America or Regions or whoever your bank is may end up selling that mortgage. And if they sell it, they will send you a little love note that says, hey, guess what? I'm selling your mortgage to John Smith. And then John Smith will send you a little love note that says, hey, you can start paying me now. Well, there's something that's called MERS, so you can check it on there. It's a 1-888 number, and you have a 17-digit mortgage identification number. And if you put those numbers in there, it will tell you who's servicing your loan. So it might not happen immediately, right at that second, that it's going to say, you know, it's still Bank of America, now John Smith. You know, well, John will show up eventually, because that's why you pay the MERS.
Okay.
And so it makes it a little
Now, every
easier
time
for
it
us.
transfers, does it say? So, you know, it'll
Supposed to.
say Barnett Bank, and then it said, you know, First Union, and then it says somebody
Yep,
else?
it's supposed
Okay.
to. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work, but, you know,
Okay.
we do what we can.
I
so,
know.
But otherwise, we have to go through different processes to be able to research that. And when we find out who the actual person is or entity is that can sign on behalf of that mortgage from way back when, we can accept that satisfaction.
And how do you
mortgage.
find that out? So if it was originally made with Barnett Bank, and like, you know, everybody in that mortgage department is dispersed like all over the place, who, or I guess it's like whoever, I don't know, because it's paid off. So it might have stopped transferring, right? It would have.
Yes, but somewhere along the line, it's still going to say that Barnett Bank is owned by,
Okay.
you know, ABC Bank.
Okay, so even
So-
though they paid off Barnett Bank, and it was, so their loan never transferred to, you know, Bank of America or whoever, it never transferred because it was already paid off.
Yep.
The fact that Bank of America bought Barnett or whoever, you know what I mean, whoever did, bought their book of business, so to speak, even though their loan was paid off, that's the person who is allowed then to sign.
Right, and
on
there is
behalf.
something in there that has to be recorded before that satisfaction of mortgage that shows the authority for this person or this entity to be able to sign on behalf of that mortgage.
See, the people don't know the stuff that you guys, right?
Yeah.
The behind the scenes, what you guys are doing,
Yeah.
and the running around that you're
Yeah,
doing. trying to-
we just get a package 2 hours before closing, and that's it. We're supposed to, you know.
I know, I know.
But there is a lot that we do between the time that we do a search on a property and actually sit down at a closing table. There's still a lot of
going on
homework
behind
going
the-
on.
behind the
and,
scenes.
you know, I know with the mortgage process, you guys have, you know, you did your thing. I remember being at a class with DeLynn, and she's doing her, you know. Anyhow, we have our thing too. So
Right.
it's sometimes, you know, we can be able to close within 2 weeks with a mortgage, with a actual cash deal transaction.
And I was just going to say that even if it is a cash deal, you're still searching what the seller
Exactly.
had done. Doesn't make a difference. That's great. Everybody thinks, oh, it's you know, the buyer is coming in and he's paying cash and everything, and that's fantastic. But how clean was the seller's title work,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Might have
and-
had some hair on it.
Well, and one of the things too, bring up a good point there. If that seller turned around and took title to the property with a quitclaim deed, oh gosh. Well,
Oh, gosh.
well, when we do a policy, we don't issue a policy on a quitclaim deed. We issue a policy on a general warranty deed or a special warranty deed, some kind of document that we can, the people guarantee that they are the owner of that property, that they're the only owners of that property that they know of. You know, like I said, 2 guys ago, there might still be somebody out there, but if you have a policy, you're covered. You're covered from the time that you purchase that property and that deed is recorded until the time that you sell that property. So the guy that did the quitclaim deed and bought the property from Bob Smith, who bought it from Paul Johnson, and Paul Johnson still had a mortgage on the property, now we have an issue. But you are covered. You have been
So are
thoroughly...
you covered by a quitclaim deed there? So the guy who, just bought it via a quitclaim deed and not a general
He doesn't
warranty
have a
deed,
policy.
He doesn't have a policy, so he's not covered.
Right. And somewhere along the line, when it comes down to who's going to end up being stuck with the bill on that one, it might be,
Right.
you know.
So even if you are paying cash for the property, because if you are buying a home and you are getting a mortgage, title insurance is a requirement. That you don't have the ability to say, no, I think I'll pass on that.
Well-
You have to get title insurance.
Well,
But on a cash deal,
actually, even on a mortgage transaction, if the people waive their interest in that property with a, well,
they're
don't
not
waive
getting a
their
loan.
interest in the property, well, you're covered. You have a mortgagee title insurance policy.
true.
But if the buyer says, I'm not going to pay that additional amount that I need to have an owner's title insurance policy, they don't have to. They can,
And
and
what
it's a
are-
discounted amount.
And
so-
what are they waiving? What is the worst case scenario if that happens?
Well, okay,
Like,
now
what are
we'll
they
talk the
waiving?
nightmares.
Exactly. I know. We got like 4 minutes left here. Let's see
Okay,
if
4
we can-
minutes, I can come up with just a couple for you, that won't take too long. You buy dirt, you get a $10,000 policy, you're having this $300,000 house put on this property. You only have $10,000 worth of coverage. Now you find out that the deed that was done for you to own that property was actually the guy next door's property. So now you not only have the dirt and the house and the pool and all these different things, but you don't own the property that you just put the house and the dirt and the pool and
And you
everything.
thought you owned it.
Exactly. So now, one situation, that is a true story.
Oh,
It did
that's
happen that way
terrible.
before.
Oh
But
my gosh, that's horrible.
I know, but it was an easy fix, believe it or not. Because
Okay.
what we did is, this was a neighborhood, well, what the underwriter did in that situation is they went and swapped lots.
Okay.
Thank God it wasn't a corner lot or something extra and
Right.
special or bigger.
And thank God the other person agreed to switch
Exactly.
lots, because he could have said, thanks for building this beautiful house on my land.
Exactly, that would have been an
Wow.
issue. Definite problem. The other thing is like, when you have a policy and you have the borders from the survey, on a cash deal, you don't need a survey. So unless you choose to have a survey, and all of a sudden now you bought the house, you decided not to get a survey, and you want to put the pool in your backyard. And you find out the pool in your backyard is like partially on your next door neighbor's house, and he sells the house, and all of a sudden the guy that buys it decides he's going to be swimming in your pool. You're kind of stuck with that. So, those are a couple of different things that are nightmares going on. But if you have an owner's policy, you're covered. You are the owner of that property. There are no liens or
So they should get the owner's
judgments.
policy regardless.
Exactly. And it's just a simultaneous issue. It is a discounted amount. Now here in Florida, we're pretty lucky because we can use the same title agency. In like St. Louis, where my sister's from, they use 2 different agencies. So now you not only have to pay for a closing fee as the buyer, but you have to pay for the owner's title insurance policy, you have to pay for the search, you have to pay the full promulgated rate for that. If we're allowed to do a simultaneous issue where we actually have the buyer and the seller using the same title company, the deed is recorded and the mortgage is recorded immediately thereafter, now that's what's called a simultaneous issue. So we can do a discounted rate for that owner's policy or for the mortgagee policy, whichever is the lesser amount.
Which other states don't offer.
They don't offer it at all. You're stuck using, and some people don't even have a title insurance company, it's attorneys.
Some people say, oh, the closing costs are so high. You know, it's all over. In some other states, it's higher than ours. So,
yeah, and it's a one-time charge for title insurance.
And then you're protected for as long as you own that property.
Yep.
So it doesn't expire, or is it something they have to renew every single year?
Never. It's a one-time charge, and it's from the time that you own the or purchase the property till you sell the property, except for one exception. Say, for instance, you get a divorce. Okay?
Uh-oh.
And then all of a sudden there's a policy.
Nightmare number 2.
Yep, it's in mom and dad, okay? Well, mom and dad get a divorce, and now dad's the only one with the property. Now, mom and dad decide to get back together again. Well, now you run into the issue where you don't have, tenants in common anymore, where now I don't know exactly how to explain it, but you need to get title insurance renewed then. Let's just say it that way, because you're not covered anymore. You're gone and then you're back. Well, something's got to happen for you to be covered.
And we were going to try and hit on divorces and things like that. And Gigi, when you come back again, I really, really, really want to touch on that, because that's something that does affect the title. And you just mentioned tenants in common. So there's different ways. There's in the mortgage world, when we hit the drop down, where it talks about the title, there's like 10 things that pop up, different ways that when you're buying a property, can take title to the property.
Yep.
So it's not just, well, it's going to be in my name, or it's going to be in my business's name, or, me and my wife, or whatever. Well, do you use a middle initial? Do you not use it? And then the different kinds. Is it tenants in common? Is it right of survivorship? What happens? And I would love to talk about that, because I get that question on the front end a lot, with people saying, how do I take title? I don't know. Talk to the title company. That's what I say.
Well, what it boils down to, though, very simply, is if you are married, you are married. If you are not, you are not. If you are married and your spouse passes away, you are single.
That's it. But there's a lot more to it.
Yes.
And next time, Gigi's going to walk us all through that. Thank you so much for being my co-host again.
Happy to help.
She wasn't sure what we were going to talk about. I said, let's talk about dirt. Because she knows her stuff.
Yeah, we could come up with all kinds of stuff here.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Please share us, get it out there, like it. Don't know how you found us, but keep on sharing us. We are Today and Every Day.
Moving forward.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.